sometimes I refer to it in the room quite a bit.
Welcome everyone, this is Zozo Stockwatch, and that was a terrible video I made back in 2015 on VWAP. The sound was bad, the look of it was bad, so I'm going to go ahead and do a new video on VWAP. So let's get rid of this one and let's go into this new one. Volume weighted average price. What is it? It measures the average price weighted by the size of the trade based on price and volume over a specific period of time. Volume weighted average price. The volume weighted average price is a trading benchmark. It's calculated by adding up the dollars traded for every transaction price multiplied by the number of shares traded and then dividing by the total shares traded for the day. If you want to learn more about VWAP, you can go to Google, go in the search field and type VWAP, and you will see all this information that comes up for VWAP. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way, and I'll tell you how I use it. It's basically a moving average based on volume. It is the average price where the majority of volume took place. Hedge funds and institutions use it a lot. They scale in their large orders around VWAP. It shows you where more traders are engaged. Alright, how do I use VWAP? Things I look for. When is the best time to use VWAP? VWAP provides support and resistance. For my style of trading, I like it on a smaller time frame. 5-minute charts, 1, 5, 10, 15-minute charts. Above VWAP shows strength, below VWAP shows weakness. I only use VWAP on market hour charts, okay? Not pre and post market, just market hour charts. So charts that are from 9:30 till 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. For my style of trading, I do not use VWAP until after 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and only when I feel there have been enough trades for the calculations to be done. So in other words, if I would never use VWAP in on a pre-market chart because the calculations aren't going to be enough. There's not enough volume. Yeah, sure, on some stocks there will be, but overall there's just not enough trading pre-market to give you a good calculation for VWAP. So for me, after 10 a.m., VWAP becomes important, and there's been enough calculations so that it could become a valid support and resistance or a valid indicator. How do traders use VWAP? They look for pullbacks to VWAP, and I like to too. Pullbacks to VWAP is the most popular indicator. For day traders attempting to get the best value, they try to buy in during consolidation under VWAP or close to VWAP, anticipating the breakout. When you break out above VWAP or break down below VWAP, some strong moves can be produced. Here's a chart of Alcoa, and you see when it breaks down VWAP here, from the top here, you get this huge move down. All right, so that's a big breakdown for Alcoa. When you see a move up, right, when it gets above VWAP, you see this push up in Alcoa here, and when a stock breaks above VWAP, and you can get a nice move up. Here's Macy's, and Macy's is holding the VWAP and consolidating in the VWAP area. Finally, we get the breakout above the consolidation. So you see VWAP was acting as support here, and finally we get the breakout above this congestion zone and then a nice continuation. As far as this SPY chart goes, this is a 5-minute chart of SPY, and the white dotted line is VWAP. As you can see, we have a lot of congestion and topping tails here. Finally, we break down below VWAP and we get a continuation move below VWAP. Once we break below VWAP, you see how VWAP, this white dotted line, acts as resistance, and we constantly get pushdowns off of VWAP, never to get reclaiming VWAP and a big move down in the SPY off of this 5-minute chart and the VWAP resistance. Here's a VWAP acting as resistance right here, and you see this stock is weak all day. All right, and it finally recovers some. It pushes back up to VWAP, only to be stopped at this resistance of VWAP. VWAP acting as support. You see VWAP coming down, hitting here, okay, and here, and then moving up. Comes back down to VWAP and moves up again. So VWAP acting as support on this chart. Even back here, came down near VWAP and then moved back up. Here we have consolidation under VWAP. So we're showing weakness. Back here was a breakup above VWAP and it showed strength. Now we've been consolidating in this range here. We finally get the break up on VWAP. So how can you not get faked out on these breakouts on VWAP? Well, for one thing, you can wait. You get the push up of VWAP, but what you can do is wait 2 candles, and when the high is taken out of the second candle, then you can get in and use VWAP as your stop, or the low of this candle that it broke above as your stop. Okay, so here's the pop of VWAP, then we get the pullback. Now if we take out this candle's high, that's where your entry would be. You would use the low of this candle, or if you wanted to give it more room, you could use a rebreak of VWAP as your stop to get out. Here's OAS, Oasis Petroleum, and this is a 5-minute chart. VWAP is in the white dotted line, and you see it's consolidating around under VWAP, the white dotted line, most of the day. All right, and finally we get the break above VWAP and the continuation move. Now, you could have played this, on the break of say $17.20, and you would have known you had VWAP here to protect you and keep you, in the stock as it climbed up. All right, back here it did it also. It was below VWAP, it breaks above VWAP, and then you get this move up on OAS. Another stock that was consolidating around VWAP but holding also strength and showing strength was TEL. And TEL climbs, it pulls back to VWAP, and then we finally break out over VWAP. Now, would you have caught it right here? Maybe, or maybe not. But the one thing you could look at here on this chart is, around 10 bucks is your resistance area, okay? So this is using VWAP and basically looking at the chart itself and looking for areas that it needs to get above a certain level to get a continuation move, and then using VWAP maybe to keep you in the trade for your stop. Okay, so I'm looking at this chart right in this area right here, and if I can see TEL has had resistance around $10, $10.05. All right, if we break above that, all right, we may get the move. Now it doesn't always work, but that's my thinking in this. So we got the break above on TEL and then the big push up, and then you can use VWAP as your stop out. All right, and then you say, well, if it breaks below VWAP, then I'm stopped out. But here was the break of consolidation, the push up, and then the continuation move. Here's GLBS, and this is a shipping stock, and you see how it's holding and consolidating around the VWAP. All right, finally we get the break above the $1.40 area. All right, or if you wanted to take it above this candle right here, which is probably about $1.39, somewhere in there. But you're holding above VWAP, and then you start to get the turn up, and then you can use a break below VWAP, as your stop out. Okay, so here's the break above and then the push up. So holding above VWAP is very important, and you should look for this. You can build scans around VWAP with trade ideas. Here's VWAP scan, and then there's a strong stock break over VWAP for a scan that I use, and breaking VWAP is another one that I use. So there's 3 scans that I have based on trade ideas and VWAP. All right, so VWAP, you can also, you build your scans. A lot of traders, what they do also is they'll have pullback scans to VWAP. You can do that. You can also have, when you add this tool to your arsenal, you can do this. I haven't done it yet, but scans based on the distance from VWAP and the mean reversion. All right, so I haven't done a scan. When the stock gets too far above VWAP, you'd be looking for maybe a pullback, and a stock that's too far below VWAP, you'd be looking for a recovery in it. So that's using VWAP based on the distance from VWAP. So a lot of traders are developing that too. All right, so VWAP, let's just review real quick. Support and resistance levels. You can watch it in conjunction with support and resistance, with trend lines. VWAP helps you to understand what other traders are thinking. Pullbacks to VWAP are most popular. Above VWAP is bullish. below VWAP is bearish, breaks above VWAP are bullish. All right. Next slide up. Okay, now here we see SPY, and this is the SPY daily. All right, and this is called anchored VWAP. All right, and this is on the daily chart from from January 3rd, 2017 to current time. And here's the candle, and you go over here where my arrow is, and this is TC2000 charts, and you click on this, and the candle that it's on is that January 3rd, 2017 candle. And this is on the daily chart, and traders will look at this and say, hey, check, we're remaining above VWAP, so we're strong on the SPY. So if this is the anchored VWAP from January 3rd, and you see how it's been acting as support in this area, we climb above, we pull back to VWAP, we move up, we climb back, we push back to VWAP, and then we've been up ever since. So this is a nice tool on TC2000 that you should add to your charting tools, and I'm going to show you how to do that live in a second. But for right now, I just wanted you to see this static chart, and you see how VWAP came into play not once, twice. All right, and also back here, if you consider it hit VWAP and stayed around VWAP, how it moved up, and that, like I said, is from January 3rd. I just want to make clear, VWAP is not a holy grail, but can offer some important information during the trading day. When used with other indicators, proper time frames, and during market hours, it can lead to some high probability trades. Add it to your charts, experiment with it. If you don't like it, you can always remove it. You're currently looking at a chart of the SPY. It's a 5-minute chart. This is TC2000 charts, and this is what I use for my trading day. I just wanted to show you how easy it is to add VWAP indicator. I don't have to use any formulas or anything like that. I don't have to, come up with, formulas like I think e-signal. You have to use a formula, and also on TC2000, not TC2000, TOS. There's a formula you need to use. So with TC2000, I just type in VWAP. Okay, and here's my VWAP indicator. I click on it, and there it is. It is now on the chart. It's this orange line that you see there, and I'll go ahead and change that because I like white for my VWAP, and I also like it to be dotted. So go ahead and change that, and now VWAP is on my chart. All right, and here you see the SPY from today. This is July 3rd, 2017. And you see how it was holding VWAP right here, and then we get the climb up on the SPY, and also then after it broke down below VWAP, you get the move down on VWAP. Now how do you do that anchored move on VWAP? And I'll go ahead and take this off. All right, this is the anchored move. So you go here, you delete this. All right, now we're looking at a daily chart of the SPY, and I go over here, I click on anchored, I bring this over, and then we're going to find January 3rd right here, right there. Right now, actually, I think it's right there. Okay, there we go. January 3rd, and let's make sure it's on January 3rd, and it is Tuesday. So here was December 30th, Friday, okay, and then we're on Tuesday, January 3rd. All right, and you can see, as I explained previously in the video, once you add this anchored VWAP on a daily chart, all right, you can see where the action was around the VWAP. And I like the anchored VWAP for the daily charts mostly, okay? And actually, Alpha Trends is the one, Brian Shannon, he's the one that uses anchored VWAP a lot. I personally like it on my daily charts. And you can see the action that takes place around the SPY for VWAP and anchored VWAP. And TC2000 makes it very easy to use this anchored VWAP. So I hope that helps you. Believe me, I'm not selling TC2000, but I find their charting platform very simple to use. So this has been your I guess, video for VWAP. It's a lot better, I hope, than the other one that I did previously. I'm sure the sound will be better. I hope the information is better for you too. So let's just go over a couple of things. VWAP support and resistance levels. You can use it in conjunction with trend lines and other indicators. And also VWAP helps you to understand what other traders are thinking. You know, if they're buying around the VWAP, looking for pullbacks to the VWAP. Above VWAP is bullish, below VWAP is bearish. Breaks above VWAP, bullish, breaks below VWAP, bearish. So, you know, and then there's a bunch of scans that you can use based on VWAP. The new thing now is scans based on distance from VWAP and then the mean reversion. So if a stock is getting too far from VWAP, you might be looking to short it. If it's getting too far below VWAP, you may be looking to go long it. All right, so I hope this video helps. This is Zozo Stock Watch. Thank you for watching. This has been your video on VWAP.